because usually you can screw around and talk during this.
I know. It's just you and me and it's silent. Because that's the first time ever. What?
Well, no, it's not first time. Well, what? First time being silent?
That you and I can't fill the
I was
void.
going to say, it's like church. We can't be quiet in church.
No.
Briefly.
I haven't said anything funny.
Hi, everybody.
Kalimera, Kalimera. That is Greek for hello.
Right on. Yay.
Yay.
That should have kind of given you an idea of what we're going to be doing tonight, and it's just Alyce and I tonight. You know,
Good luck.
You know, it's the original podcast.
There we are.
You know, the reason is because Kris is down in New Mexico visiting her dad, visiting my father-in-law, and that is apparently going very well because if I don't hear anything, everything's fine.
Oh, as well, yeah.
Everything's fine. Tonight, we are going to do, as somewhat promised, is now I am going to interrogate Alyce about her trip that she's going to be taking later this summer.
I know. I'm 103 days away.
That's it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
103 days away.
Okay. Yeah, that
as of this recording.
That's not much time,
It's
y'all.
not, no.
Especially for an international trip.
I know.
We did that discussion 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that we did not give you enough time to talk about your experiences with the international travel thing.
Well, and it's new to me, so there's a lot.
My point.
That I don't, yeah.
My point. So tonight we're going to be talking to Alyce about her trip to Greece, and 1, why she's taking the trip, 2, how that trip has come about, and 3, who's actually facilitating this trip. Yeah, because you got now it's a Disney adventure thing.
Yeah.
So you get to talk about you're the first of the 3 of us now who is going to be actually actively doing something with that.
Yeah.
And
cool offshoot of Disney travel. So.
Exactly. And since, you know, we're Disney adults, as we've already given you.
Fully admit it.
We are sorry, not sorry.
No shame.
You know,
in
we are
game.
definitely Disney adults. So there we are. But yes, tonight I would like you to tell us 1, how you discovered it, and 2, what was the process of beginning? Okay. Does that make sense?
I think so. I think I know where you're going with it.
Okay.
So, backstory. In our family, we are lovers of history. Let's put it that way. Our father is huge into history, in particular Civil War history. That's kind of his base. Yours is medieval beginnings, those kinds of, and other. I mean, you're like all of it, but
yeah,
that's your.
I got a lot about history I'm into, but mainly medieval and Crusades.
Mom's is about. I think she's really into American history.
I'd say.
And it's not necessarily like the wars and things. It's more of cultures and settlings and America, how America became who we are and what we're about.
Yeah, she was very much pioneer history.
Yeah. Sorry.
And turn of the century.
And most recently, I found this interesting, our Native American history.
Okay.
She's been doing a lot of genealogical research into that side of things. So
nice.
Yeah, so we come by looking at ancient cultures or the past, and learning from that very naturally. It was very much talked about in our homes. It was our discussion. We would watch documentaries or old movies or whatever. So my space of this whole love of history has been Greek history, and I was trying to figure out a way to explain what it is about it that really appeals to me. I think the best way to describe it is that in Greek history and the Greek culture, it's very much about discovery and questions and learning, which is very much who I am as a scientist. And it fits me well, and how that whole entire civilization was put together, and discovering and questioning and figuring out and reorganizing and making it better, and looking at things as a whole and bettering it for the whole people. Yes, they had a caste system, and yes, there was all of that was in there, but it was always about working together as a unit of a culture instead of trying to separate it too much.
It was, how can I say it? To make it really simplistic, it was the beginnings of a civilization.
The whole, and what's a lot of civil, and really what kind of spurred it is that John Adams, when he was putting together and looking about structuring what the United States was going to look like, or the organized colonies were going to look like, he did base it on Greek structure and how the Greeks did it, and what the Greek, how that whole thing was put together with representation and checks and balances, and how that whole system of government was established. He took that and then built off of it.
That's very true.
Yeah.
It was also, he took the more refined version of it from the Romans into the Republic aspect.
The Romans took it from the Greeks,
right?
That's and then and
that's what I mean.
So that it's that whole thing of like building off of one another, and that was intriguing to me as well.
Right. Now, please remember, the Romans didn't really come up with anything on their own. They stole everything. Okay. Everything.
So when I, growing up and learning, I always like, it'd be really cool to go to Greece, and then you layer on the whole, our whole church kid life and all of those missionaries, the journeys that Paul went on. And this was the whole area that all that started with, and all those big moments in Christianity that happened in Greece and Rome, and, and that whole region, that Mediterranean region. It was like, like that, all of those things that, you're immersed in, you're kind of like, oh, that's cool. You want to learn about it. And as I got older, I'd be like, oh, it'd be really cool to go there. I'd really like to see those places.
This is why I'm extremely jealous of you right now. I'm beyond myself.
Well,
with Kris got to go before we did.
Yeah, I know.
And now you're going.
I get to go.
And watch, Kat's going to end up going before I get to go. And
you'll get there. So anyway, fast forwarding on this whole, like, Greece is my dream vacation and bucket list and blah, 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 and just life happening and adulting, and I finally got to this point where I turned a certain age and I was like, I'm done putting it off. I'm not waiting around for anything anymore. I'm going to start doing it. So I got really serious about exploring how to get there in a really smart way. Because originally I was going to be traveling by myself. I am a confident traveler. I do not mind traveling by myself. I've flown and done Australia by myself. I've done Carousel by myself. I've flown a lot of places for work and conferences by myself. So it's not like I'm not confident, but I did not want to explore by myself. So I was really immediately looking at travel packages.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at groups to go with and what kind of things that they set up and where you'd go and how that would work out.
Into the unknown.
Into the unknown. And in all of that, I'd heard about Adventures by Disney when I was living in Corpus, actually. They had started this whole offshoot of Disney Travel, and they were wanting to put the Disney spin and the Disney experience on group travel and taking it out of the parks and utilizing the whole aspect of discovery and magic and what this world's about with that. So Adventures by Disney was in my space for a while. In particular, I first was exploring with ABD, looking at their South African safari.
Oh, of course.
So I have two things on my bucket list: Greece and an African safari.
Oops, sorry.
You're okay. Those are my two. Like, I'm gonna do those before I die.
Right.
Trips.
Yeah. And that's also on my bucket list. So
my next ABD will be the safari. Just everybody, I'm putting it out there.
I got, and see, I agree with you. I got to get to the savannah. I'm sorry. I got to see it.
It's just,
I got to see
as
it.
a zoologist, I have to. I can't not. So the whole thing with ABD, as I was looking at some of their packages, and I was like, hey, maybe they go to Greece. And lo and behold, it is one of the packages.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a researcher. I'm a comparison shopper, if you will. So I didn't like land on ABD right away. I did look at other travel groups and looking at being a solo traveler, what that would entail. There's a lot of options out there. And if you're looking for something like that, do your research, look out there and see what fits you and fits you as a person. The solo travel groups, I almost went with one before I went with Adventures by Disney, because it is specific to solo travelers. It's specific to solo adult travelers.
Okay.
So you're going as a group, but you're not for forced family fun, if you will.
So not mandatory fun.
It makes it really easier to do excursions and things because you're going as a group and this is your tour group. However, you're respected as a solo traveler, so you're not feeling like you have to immediately make best friends or any of that. I'm sure it happens, but it was really kind of clear with that. But it had some things in it that I didn't really want to do. So when I looked at the itinerary for Adventures by Disney, it just hit. It's what I wanted to do. And it was at the price point that I was knowing I'd have to pay because of international travel at the time and how ticket prices are and all of that.
Yeah, that's just... yeah, I understand.
However, I'll get in my story in a minute.
Oh, okay.
I have some
of
Todd
course.
shopping moments for us to
Of
experience.
Of course.
But needless to say, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I reached out to Tom and Lonette, our MVP travel aficionados.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let's do this. And I wanted to for sure, because when I was talking with, them about White Thoughts and talking with all of you, Lonette was like, let us help you with it, because as the concierge service that they provide, they had never done an Adventures by Disney trip before. So it had been a really great learning experience for them. So I was like, great, I'll be your guinea pig. No big deal. So about a year ago, I started the process of, going to a seminar that Adventures by Disney had put on. And I looked at that and what the excursions are and provide, and learning about Adventures by Disney as a travel package company. And then what I needed to do with some of the discounts. Now, the cool thing about Disney is that if you are a Disney Vacation Club member, a Disney credit card holder, or an annual pass holder, you get certain discounts layered on top of other things. So because I have a Disney credit card and I used it to book my trip, I was able to save a significant amount of money per traveler. So that was also a little bit of a hook,
of course,
if you will,
of course,
because I was going to save some money off the top that I wouldn't have had that opportunity with the other travel groups.
Mm-hmm.
So once I decided to bit the bullet, I put my down payment down and started working on, learning things. What we were looking at the itinerary and looking at where we were going to go and what we were going to do. So that's how all of this started. What was your other question?
I didn't have another question.
So
Sorry.
That's okay. You gave me two things and I totally forgot.
Oh, sorry. That's my bad then.
No.
Okay, so that's how you found it.
That's how I found it, and that's how I got into this part.
Well,
of it.
And that's also what was explaining the process. Yeah. So you've answered both questions.
Cool. So my way of traveling, and we've talked about this before on the channel, is that I like to do a lot of backlogging of knowledge before I go anywhere. And my big thing is I love to have travel books. I am still a hard copy travel book person. And my favorite travel book books are the DK Eyewitness books. I love them for a variety of reasons. I love them for animal books. I love them for history books.
Yeah, they do some very good history things.
DK Eyewitness is stunning. And what I love about their travel books, and this also goes to why I choose the Bibles I choose. And you know this.
Of course.
It's because of the maps.
Yep. Yep.
If you want to know how I choose a Bible, I choose a Bible based on the maps in the back.
That's from our dad.
And well, that's how we were occupied during Big Church.
Yeah.
And Mom would help us out too. Like that's both Mom and Dad of giving us the maps.
That was because there was a time that I have memorized the Canaanite expansion.
Well, but you learn, and I credit them. We know what the world looks like.
Well, that's true.
And we know like how it's put together and where things are at in the world and how
our knowledge of geography was a little bit more advanced than some.
I'm not sure if you want to hold this page up to the camera. This is another thing I love about Eyewitness.
I can do
is that they come up with these really great schematics and diagrams of things what it looked like and what it is now, and then they label things and you're able to kind of put yourself in that spot. So I immediately put thank you. I wanted everybody to get a chance to see that. That's why I love the Eyewitness travel books a lot. They also have littler ones that fit better in a backpack.
Oh yeah.
And then you have
the field manual,
pull out maps. And a lot of this is good too because they're street maps. So if you need to navigate, I know Google. Thank you, Google.
Google does okay.
However, I'm not guaranteed international service. I'm not guaranteed having access to those things. So I like being, I'm a Gen Xer. I like having my map.
Okay, see that now. There's a little bit. I'm going to be getting on a soapbox here about Gen X.
Off my lawn.
Yeah, well, there is that. Gen X is the group of people who not only know how to use the apps, have used the internet first, wrote programs to write the internet.
But if the internet breaks.
But we also have that hard copy because you never know if you're going to have signal. We know that.
And we know the internet will break.
That's right. Because we know that it's not reliable.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a question of if. It's a question of when. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
So I'm going to be traveling with all of these books. And I probably won't I'll probably put them in my carry-on. Who am I lying? I got a 14-hour
flight. This is now Adventure Time with Alyce.
But that's where I started. I've started really reading up on the places where we're going to be going on the itinerary. So the itinerary is 3 days in Athens, 3 days in Santorini, and 3 days in Crete. And
Santorini.
I know.
Oh.
And the Adventures by Disney takes care of 100% of your domestic travel. They have taken care of in the package every meal except 5 dinners.
Okay, so you're only responsible for finding 4 or 5
like
dinners.
2 lunches for 3 or 4 dinners.
Oh, okay, so only a few meals.
Yeah, just a few meals.
Okay.
Some of the meals are built into the experiences and the excursions that we're going to do.
I would expect so.
I know. I'm so excited about the food. The other cool thing about the itinerary is that we have set things, but those things can be altered, changed, added to. So there's going to be surprises I don't even know about yet. When we go to things, like we're going to the Acropolis, obviously. The hotel we're staying at in Athens has a view of the Acropolis. Now, according to Kris, every place
has a view of the Acropolis. Yeah.
So she kind of killed my Christmas there, but
okay.
It's okay. I'm very excited about that.
I understand too. Yes, I get
beautiful.
that. Because there's that Parthenon sitting up there.
It's right there.
I get it.
There's a lot of things that happen there.
And how old it is.
And it's still standing.
Right?
Like, see.
Yeah.
Greeks.
Now you understand
cool.
with Alyce and I with the whole history thing. Okay.
So that's, we're going to have time there I think by ourselves or first thing where there's going to be less crowds. We're going to the Temple of Poseidon.
Oh.
I'm so excited for that. That one I'm excited for.
Yeah, same
really
here.
Excited for.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do, the first Olympic Stadium.
Oh.
That one, we get a private tour of that one. So we get to see that. I'm not doing an adults only trip. I'm doing an everybody trip because it matched my schedule. They do have adults only travel options. So if that's something that you're interested in and you're kind of curious about what they offer, there are family ones and then there are adults only. I don't mind kids. I work with, they're my business. So I don't mind traveling with them.
I think
So
it would
I
be
think it's
kind
cool.
of more fun with kids.
I'm kind of excited.
That's just
yeah.
me, though.
So
you know,
and having kids have that experience at the age that they're at, and I get to see that versus me waiting to anyway, it's gonna be cool. I'm excited about that. So with Athens, that we're gonna be doing those sorts of things, and again, whatever else they throw on us. Then we're traveling to Santorini. We're gonna be in OI. I think that's how you say the city center.
sure.
OIA in the English alphabet, not the Greek alphabet.
Right? Yeah, I get it.
So that's where we're going to be staying there, and of course we're going to be doing the traditional steep cobblestone streets.
There's a
with
whole
the
lot
white,
of up.
a lot, with the white buildings and the blue roofs and all of that, just stunning.
Now this
Yeah.
is where I would love to go, but I don't know if I'd be able to do it.
You throw you on a donkey,
I hope. that'd be
throw you on a
great.
mule horse. And you
That'd
can
be
go up the
great.
street. They do have those excursions though,
I
where
know,
you could
but-
you could ride on the back of a donkey up and down those hills.
No, it's just it reminds me of that scene of Hercules and his earthly dad going to the market.
No problem, Pop.
Don't unload just yet. First, I have to finagle with Phidias.
Okay.
This time, please, just...
I know. Stay by the cart.
That's my boy.
I'm the donkey.
Yeah. There's a lot of subtext there.
Yeah.
So anywho, the other big things is that I am very much looking forward to the amount of time we're going to be spending nearer in the water.
There's the other bucket list thing for me, okay?
I get to be in the Aegean and Mediterranean seas.
Yeah. The diving there is...
I know, I'm really excited.
Oh.
So again, part of my preparation is trying to figure out how to make some things work. So I've got some underwater housings for our cool cameras. I'm trying to make them work. There's some design issues. So I have a friend who's doing some 3D printing modifications to make sure that they go underwater.
There's a setting on that camera specifically for
that.
the housing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I put it on there and it still didn't make anything happy. Long story short, there's a angle that the camera gets and it still sees the top of the housing, even in the setting, and it's annoying. So
that's disappointing.
It is.
That's
So
disappointing.
I have some, we're MacGyvering some things with some 3D printing. So we'll see what happens. Worst case scenarios, I have a pouch for my phone.
Well, there's
I
that.
can do that.
No, that's not the worst case scenario.
It's not the worst case scenario, but I really like our little cameras. So I'm going to do some testing of some things before I leave. Again,
Yes.
I'm a preparer.
Okay, there. If we have not made this clear,
That's my job.
exactly. If we had not made this clear in our previous talks, a lot of the trip for us is the planning.
It's the preparation.
is the
Yeah.
planning. Okay.
You're right.
We get excited. She gets excited about the books.
My book.
I get excited about going online and finding the things.
Yeah.
Kris gets excited about doing the listening on the audio podcast about where we're going. That's for us part of the journey, and the trip for us is more of the journey, not the destination.
Right. And it's,
So
and a trip starts when we start this part. Like
Yes.
I've been on this trip for a year now.
yeah, exactly.
And,
exactly.
the end result is going to be going, but I've been in Greece for a year.
Oh yeah.
So that's some of the fun stuff. So we're going to do, in Crete, there's going to be a time in the atoll, going up and down the volcano, in the, pools there, we're going to stink like sulfur. What are they called?
Oh, the springs.
There you go.
Hot springs.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have them here in Colorado. Those
Geothermal feature.
words are hard. So we're gonna be that. In fact, I made to make sure that I take the correct swimsuit, so that way I'm dedicating that suit just to that
Yeah,
pool
because
and not my other ones.
you don't know what the pH level on that's going to be, and
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to also carry that stuff over into the shoreline or anything.
And I have to, and I want to be able to change. So anyway, the cool thing I'm really looking forward to is that our hotel in Crete has a private beach.
Oh, well.
So the afternoons, I'm like, yeah, you don't know where I'm going to be.
Okay, now here's the question. Do you know what the composition of the beach is? Is it pebble?
It's white sand.
It is sand.
Yeah, it's
okay,
white sandy.
Okay. Because there's a reason I asked.
Yeah, no, I know what you asked. Yeah, because it's volcanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes those somewhat surfed smooth pebbles aren't so smooth.
Yeah, I'll be taking water shoes. I'm not going to take my water shoes and everything. And
because there's pokey things on there.
Yeah. The obsidian doesn't crack in a round way; it cracks in a sharp way.
There's that, and also there's animals that are pokey there too.
Yeah.
So
so that's kind of the itinerary. Now, like I said, originally I was going to be traveling solo, but Lonette, our sister-in-law, didn't really. She was the most uncomfortable with me traveling by myself. And I love her. And I get why. It's a layer of you're going to have these really cool experiences and you can't share. Like there's nobody to like share with, you know, and I get that part. And I love it and I respect it. And I'm honored that she cared enough to be worried for me. So that's the place. But we were all together at Thanksgiving here. And, you know, Lon kept on just bringing this up. And, you know, Tom was there and it was like, well, Tom can go. And Tom was like,
can I?
He's like, well, you know, yeah. He's like, it's not that I don't want to go. He just doesn't want to slow anybody down. Now, Tom has been struggling with some health things, going through his own journey and working through that. And he's just a little concerned that, not the fear of the unknown. Let's just basically put it that way.
Tom and I need to do a trip together then.
Yeah. And so, but he's decided to go with me. And then how I found out, which was really kind of funny, is that before we all got a chance to talk, is that, so Adventures by Disney has you sign a lot of paperwork previous to going. One is a travel safety agreement. One is to get your travel visa. One is a code of conduct. You know, there's things that you have to agree to. And I got an email from Adventures by Disney and I'm like, I already signed all this paperwork, but maybe they need me redo it, whatever. And so I get down to the bottom to sign and it's like second traveler, Tom Pfeiffer. I was like, oh, Tom's going with me.
And there we are.
So that's how that happened. So it was really cool. So I will be traveling with Tom on this one, kind of a / work trip because, you know, we all help out with the MVP business that they have. So we'll be working, and a lot of the video I'm going to take, they get to have for their business and their travel. And I can do testimonials and work with them and we can work with them in creating some fun adverts for their MVP side. So there's to be some fun, like it's work, quote unquote, but it's not. It's like my dream vacation.
Right.
So that's kind of the space where we're at now, is I'm on a lot of the pre-planning stuff.
Right. Also, once again, we are not paid by MVP for any of our endorsements. In fact, I will probably put another MVP commercial right here. Hi, everybody. It's Future Chuck here, Future Editor Chuck here. And I wanted to talk to you folks real quick about Magical Vacation Planner by Lonette and Tom Pfeiffer. They are a travel concierge couple that can help you with everything that you could possibly need when you're planning your travel or when you're looking for those deals or packages. They primarily do focus on Disney and cruises, but they can help you with pretty much anything, anywhere on the planet. So check them out. I will provide a link here in the description of this video. Look them up, ask them what's going on, and start a conversation. You'll find out that they can help you with everything. So yes, please go check out Magical Vacation Planner by Lonette and Tom Pfeiffer. Thanks a lot, and back to the video.
I love them. It does take a lot of the grunt work off of your plate. It's not that you're away from the grunt work. You are fully involved in choices that you make and decisions. And hey, look for this. Can I add this? You are part of that whole process. You just don't have to be the one sitting in front of a computer.
Yeah, exactly. Case in point, the time when we all went to Disney when I came right out of the hospital, the second time.
Yeah.
That it's been a speaking of journeys, yeah. Anyway, when we went there for my birthday,
Yeah.
We had gotten an upgrade on the room that we were staying in, unbeknownst to us.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah. And that was, again, Lonette with MVP doing her thing.
Yeah. So that was really great. So I really enjoy working with them and learning a lot from MVP and following them on the socials. There's a lot of cool things that they bring to you and they get first. So you get to have benefits of that. So, so that's where we're at. I'm just kind of in this space of trying to figure things out. I still am trying to make sure I'm prepared because I have never been to Europe. So that's my big thing. I think we talked about this the last podcast, but making sure that I have hard cash in my hand, like euros, getting euros and having dollars. I'm on Duolingo and I'm learning Greek and getting some of that familiar so I can at least get some basic phrases under my belt. I have these really cute little playing cards. And they're a deck of playing cards, but on them they have Greek phrases. So I can play solitaire on the plane and learn and practice my Greek. And so, and it is basic things that you need to know of, when you're looking at a sign and is it saying right or left? You can look at that.
You oughta shoulda known.
Yeah. This is the bathroom. And what does bathroom look like in Greek? You know? So
exactly.
That's important. Those are important, I think, as a traveler, just being educated enough to know the basics of the language that you're going to. So that way, if you do have questions, you can navigate a little bit on your own. And like we were talking about, Google Translate is a big thing. It's very helpful. There's the text to speak or speak to text feature of that. So it's helpful, but having a basic knowledge before you go in really does put you a level above and knowing how to ask the right questions.
I will not buy this record. It is scratched. No. This is a tobacconist's. Tobacconists. I will not buy this tobacconist's. It is scratched.
Exactly.
I think it's a big part of it.
Exactly. Having worked in an airport and having to interact with passengers who are not English speakers.
Yeah.
It is, I have always felt that it's vitally important to at least learn a little bit of the language of the country that you're going to. At least a little bit. And one of the things that has always been joked about, and not so kindly a lot of the time, is that Americans don't bother to learn the language of the country that they're going to, but they expect everybody to learn the language that they are.
When I go to someplace, I expect somebody to speak English to me.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And it's like,
no. Let's break that mold, folks.
Which is sort of why I've been intimidated to travel to countries that don't speak English.
Same here.
And
Same here.
Because I don't have a proclivity to learn languages very well. Like, this is such a, like, the learning of the Greek has been really challenging me. Now, I have a step up from, I think, a lot of people is because am a scientist, and a lot of the stuff I've been enveloped in with my zoology degree has been in Greek, because Greek and Latin are what we use to name animals. So I have
at the same time.
So I have an understanding of the sounds and the words and how they go together and what that word and like the meaning behind of it. But could I put a sentence together? No.
Not from learning taxonomy. No.
Absolutely not. But Duolingo, I'm
Speaking of taxonomy.
But when I'm on Duolingo, I'm like, oh, I know that word, or I know how that word should be pronounced, or like I get that. Exactly. Things that look like S's are, D's, and things look like a V or upside down V or L sounds. Like I get that.
Oh, and now I'm going to mess with your head. Try and learn Gaelic.
No.
Okay.
I have that on my Duolingo to learn, but I don't know.
Now, which Gaelic though?
I don't know.
Is it Scottish? Is it Irish?
It's Irish.
Is it Welsh?
It's
Is
Irish.
It Manx? Is it,
No, on
Okay.
on Duolingo, I want to learn Irish.
Yeah, I've been playing around with the Irish as well. Okay, Alyce and I come from the same family, and languages were not easy.
No.
Are not easy for us.
No.
I struggle with French a lot.
I struggle with French too.
But the thing is, I love it. I love French.
That was my high school language class. I had to have a language.
I didn't take a language class in
I had
high
to take
school.
one. They required it by the time I
What
got there.
What I really wanted to learn was Latin, proper Latin.
Mom learned Latin.
Some.
Mom had Latin
Some.
in high school.
Yeah.
It was offered at high school.
Yeah, I know, and it wasn't there when I went through. In fact, they had ceased the Latin project or the Latin program 2 years before I went into high school.
Eh.
And it's like, oh. Anyway.
Duolingo can teach you Latin.
Yeah, sorry. And then
Yay,
A few
Duo.
moments later.
yeah. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Speaking of the Cousteau sound there from SpongeBob, you're going to be in the same waters where Jacques got his start.
When created the scuba stuff.
Yes.
I know.
Oh.
Calypso.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
I know. That's
The jealousy is oozing from me right now.
I cannot wait to get in the water.
I don't blame
the
you.
Second that we have any whatever downtime, I'm getting me a snorkel and fins and I'm in. I
Exactly.
don't care. I told Tom, I was like, you don't have to be in the water. You can go to the room and take a nap. You know where I'm going to be. And I'm a confident swimmer. I'm safe. I don't ever do the diving when I snorkel because
No, that's wise.
I know my lungs.
Boyle's law is a
it's
thing.
a lot of pressure. I mean, I
Yeah.
can dive down. It's something that I like. I'm a surface snorkeler, and that's what I do.
Well, the compression and expansion can actually irritate you pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
and I want to be. I mean, the last thing I need is a major asthma attack in a foreign country. Yay.
or at depth. Yeah.
Hooray!
Yeah.
So I'm so excited for that. I think it's something else that I'm super excited for is you've seen pictures of all of these things in books. You've seen things in movies. You've heard them talked about over time. You have all of this, Bible history knowledge of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be physically in those places. I'm actually getting a little emotional. I'm going to be physically in those places and touching those same spaces that those people that we've learned about all of our lives.
You're going to be walking in the same places that Aristotle walked. You're going to be, and Socrates walked.
And where they taught those
And
classes,
Pericles.
and then Paul's whole journeys, and then all of
all the great philosophers, all the early saints.
and it doesn't really look any different. It really doesn't look much different than they did. And I know I'm just that puts me in the space of just honoring the past and respecting what they did. And because of what they did, I'm standing on their shoulders to do what I do.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
It's an amazing, cool thing about the human existence because
you're going to be in the place where the actual beginnings and seeds of scientific method were developed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not true scientific method, but
Just
the beginnings of it.
Asking questions,
Yeah.
asking the right questions, learning how to seek the answers, using those answers to create more understanding. The more understanding creates more questions creates more research.
And the journey continues.
And that's, like I said, that's probably why the Greek history and Greek culture and all of that has hit with me the way it has, because that's just my nature.
Well, okay, you already know my love of
Yeah.
the classics and the ancients.
Yeah.
Okay, you already know that. That's, again, the other reason why I'm so jealous of where you're going.
See, I forgot another book.
Go ahead.
So the last thing I'm getting up on is I was gifted a really lovely book for my birthday this past October on Greek mythology and all of the Greek pantheon and all of the titans and the gods and the demigods and the all of that. So I'm reading up on those as well to help just refine the things I'm seeing. And
Mm-hmm.
I do have on my watch list, and I'm not sure if I'm going to download it and binge it on the plane, but Chaos off of Netflix.
Oh man,
I've heard is really, really good. I've got it ready to go. I probably should start it because I really want to sleep on the plane. That's one of the other things I'm worried about.
Be prepared. It's a cable streaming show.
Yeah.
So it's spicy.
Well, there's some liberties that also have been taken. I understand that.
But it's spicy.
Yeah.
Okay. Go with that. The other thing is I will tell you the finale episode of Chaos was really rough for me to watch.
So one of my coworkers, she has a English literature degree, and her specialty is Greek mythology. And she said the same thing. She's like the last episode.
It was rough.
Hits. Yeah, hard.
It was rough. And it hits you on a lot of different levels.
So,
okay.
Which is probably why I shouldn't watch it on a plane.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Not the finale. Okay, not the finale. But it's beautifully written. It's wonderfully acted. I will spoil a little bit, just a tiny little bit. Jeff Goldblum's depiction of Zeus makes you feel about Zeus the way I think you should feel about Zeus.
Womanizing
You
jerk
love
face.
him and you hate him.
Rude, nasty thing.
Yes. You just love him because of the irreverence, and then you absolutely hate his guts.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and I'll leave it at that.
So that's on my watch list. I have on my watch list. Like, why am I watching these things? To get myself being in Greece for the last year. The original Clash of the Titans.
Oh.
With Bebo.
The old Harryhausen?
Bebo.
Yeah, the old Hank Harryhausen?
Yeah.
Stop motion?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's flying straight for us.
Too heavy for the dead branch, eh?
How do you know that?
He told us.
That one, I think, is... Well, that was the one we watched.
It was the 1980s with
the best with Bebo. Beep, boop.
Yeah.
I love that little owl. I love him to death.
In the remakes,
I know
he makes
he's there.
an appearance.
When I was like...
What is this? Just leave it.
I was talking with my colleague as well. And I was like, when Bebo showed up in the remake of the Clash of the Titans, I literally screamed out loud. I was like, yeah! I got really excited. I love that little thing. And I was like, they had to at least put that thing in there.
Oh, yeah.
An homage to the original Clash of the Titans.
Exactly. Because, I mean, we all loved him.
I know.
We all loved him.
I'm going to watch probably the original, the OG Clash of the Titans. I'm not going to watch 300.
No, please don't.
I really don't have the desire for that.
Are you even going to be going close to Thermopylae?
No.
Well, then I wouldn't bother. But you will be, won't you be going close to Sparta? Where Sparta was?
I don't think so.
Wait, Athens, Santorini. No, I don't think you are.
No, I'm not going. I'm on Crete and...
Yeah, I don't think you are going to be going where Sparta was. Oh, well, okay. Anyway, yeah, it was... It's okay.
We have some downtimes, and one of the things that I'm looking at is the things we can do during our downtimes. Tom and I get in to Athens around, by the time we get around and out of the airport, it'll be about 1:30 local time.
Okay.
So, well, we landed around 11. I'm thinking it's going to be at least an hour to get us out of the airport.
At least.
To get our bag. It's international, so we have to get through customs. We have to get our bags. We have to do like the whole thing. So
isn't there going to be a wrangling point?
It will be picked up by Adventures by Disney.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean.
And then they'll take us to the hotel. We can't really check in until 3, but we can leave our stuff there. And so, like having a change of clothes, getting food. Oh my Lord, if I don't have dinner, I'm going to be like dying.
Well, they'll give you something on the plane.
Yeah, but like having, like a good meal.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then we'll have a welcome dinner.
Oh, right
on. The
on.
first night.
Okay.
But that time between we get to the airport, get a little settled, and then till 3, when we can check in, we've got some time. So like, what can we do to kill time in Athens? So this is where Kris has been invaluable with some of that knowledge and helping out with, there's the changing of the guard that's always really helpful. There's the botanic gardens that are there that I guess are stunningly beautiful. And our hotel is kind of in the middle of the plaza, so we've got some things to walk to, and we
indeed.
can so I think depending on how we both feel, I think I'd like to hit the gardens just to have a little bit of outside time,
Stretching the legs.
Being in nature because nature's healing.
Mm-hmm.
So any of that.
Well, I will tell you that lately, with my condition now, if I don't get up and move, I'm going to have problems.
And that's what I think what's going to be important with Tom is that we'll need to do some walking.
You need to move.
We'll need to do some moving. So.
Lower extremities will need that squish.
So, but yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm in planning.
Okay. Now, what are you going to do about your iced tea?
I'm going to be taking like 800 boxes of tea bags with me.
Oh, tea bags. Okay. Yeah. Careful with customs.
They're going to be in my check bag.
Okay. Regardless.
They'll be in, I'll put them in my little Ziplocs. I'll put them in, I'll have them, them exposed.
Will you be able to bring them into Greece?
I think so. I haven't read anything about things not like that.
That's
being allowed.
My question. That's my question.
I have not read that.
Okay.
My plan is to have brewing and making my tea jugs in the room and filling my water bottles with that instead of water.
Oh, you're going to be that tourist.
I'm going to be that tourist because it's for the benefit of all around me. If I'm not, because I don't know if I could get tea. Like that was the thing in Australia, is that I'd ask for an iced tea and they looked at me like I had 7 heads.
Yeah.
Like they're like, what are you going to do? I was like, then I just started ordering a hot tea and a glass of ice. And they're like, what are you going to do with that? And I'm going to pour this tea over this ice. And they're like, what are you going to do with that?
I'm going to drink it.
They almost were like appalled that I was even going to think about that.
Well, yeah.
And okay, well, I'm an American.
Yeah. Lord help you when you go to England.
Oh,
okay.
Well.
Actually, no,
I
won't say that.
That's why I'm putting it in my water bottle so nobody sees.
Believe it or not, the quality of tea in England, even hot, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
It's August.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I drink hot tea on a hot day, but I just, you'll want something cool and refreshing. And that's,
well, and the thing is I know, because traveling with you, I have understood the need to find the tea.
Yeah, I need tea. I don't drink pop.
No, but I remember vividly tearing around theme parks just to find tea.
Whoa.
And I don't blame you at all.
I mean, I know where they're at now.
Well, now we do.
In the Disney parks, I know where to find my tea.
Now we do. Okay. But
it was, quite the adventure. Yeah. So that's the plan. I'm going to take tea bags and boxes of tea with me in my checked bag. Tom is also a tea drinker. So between the two of us, we'll have tea to drink. I'm not sure what there is to get when we have lunch or, those places. So I want to have at least protecting myself.
Oh yeah.
If you will, and just doing it on my own.
Okay. Now the next question I'm going to ask, and this is actually going to be cheesy, silly, and just because we're Disney adults, do you think that they're going to be alluding to Hercules at all?
Honey, you mean Hercules!
I would hope a little bit. So one of the cool things that I do know about ABD is that they give a pin a day. And so you get to collect pins for your trip. And I'm really, really hoping that there's some Hercules pins.
I'm hoping that for you as well. Because going to Greece by Disney, I would be surprised if there's not anything.
It is not the theme of the trip, so there's not. We're not doing,
because the theme of the trip is Greece.
It's Greece, but we're not doing the 12 Trials of Hercules.
What, you don't want to go muck out stalls?
I don't want to muck out stalls. I do that for a living. No, thank you.
No,
go
kill a lion.
I don't need to do that either. I'm good.
Okay.
So,
And it's not just mucking out the stalls.
No,
it's mucking out the stalls of the cannibalistic horse.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
man-eating horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and flooding out of town with that water. So yay.
Ew.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's not the one I wanted.
That's okay.
No, I want that.
So I hope so. I plan on just a little inside of my kind of nerdiness. I'm gonna do some Disney bounding
Oh, hell yeah.
of Hercules characters.
Oh, yeah, you are.
So I have
Yes, you are.
I have my outfits, some of my outfits planned. Not direct copy, but
Right.
I've got
Well, obviously, you're going to do Meg.
I have a perfect outfit for that.
You're going to do Meg, yeah.
I have Meg, I have Hades,
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
I have Hercules, I have Phil.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
have Pain and Panic comboed. And then I think I have something for the muses.
Of course.
But we'll have to see if the muses pans out because it's a pair of pants.
No, okay, well.
But I figured, at a dinner.
Now, okay, I got happy and emotional by Dig a Little Deeper from Tiana, or from
Yeah.
Princess and the Frog. Okay, I got a little emotional and happy with that one. What really sang to me and what grabbed me was the muses.
Yeah.
And Zero to Hero.
Zero to Hero is one of the best songs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Ooh.
Who was the gliding gladiator? Hercules. Whose down deeds of great theater? Hercules.
I hope we do some Hercules things. I hope like our pins are Hercules. I hope there's some stuff like that. I mean, I hope we get a pin every day. Some of the other ABDs that I've been researching and watching on YouTube, they get pins every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's like even little trinkets and little presents that they give as
swag.
Yeah, just swag.
Bring on the swag.
So I'm just excited to see what happens.
Well, see, and I'm living vicariously through you right now. I'm looking very much forward to the footage you bring back, because being able to crawl through that. And yeah, I'm assuming quite a bit here. Alyce is fully capable of editing her own videos, but she gives it to me.
I do, because I work a 50-hour-a-week job.
Yeah, she's upper mid management,
mid-ish.
Yeah.
But anyway, I work a lot of hours.
Yeah, she does.
So,
and I get to play with all that video and all that footage and me and getting into
But anyway, I am fully prepared. I have a device to hold the camera on my backpack, so I don't have to hold on to it, so I can walk around with it going.
Mm-hmm.
I have power packs and power bricks to make sure that I'm fully powered. I have my phone.
Right on.
That's
right on.
I will have a lot of footage.
Oh, I expect so. I expect so. I expect that this is going to, if you're going to give it to me to edit into videos, it's going to be days of work.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be days of work.
The other last thing I'm really kind of ish about is the flight. I could only compare it to my flight to Australia.
Yeah.
And that was hard. That was
it's
14
a long
hours
flight.
in a plane.
It's a long plane ride.
And I learned that you don't go to sleep. Like, it doesn't matter which direction you travel, whether you gain hours, you lose hours, whatever it is. You have to stay awake until it is time for you to go to bed in the local time zone.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I have some things to prepare to sleep on the plane. I'm a good sleeper on a plane.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also not 7 years old anymore and can't curl up in the bottom of the seat bed. You know, like there's things. So, and getting up and moving and being relaxed enough, because I'm going to be keyed up and excited.
Right.
That sleeping's going to be hard anyway.
Just remember, the Atlantic is I can't say that, a lot smaller, but it is smaller than the Pacific.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And we're flying from Chicago directly into Athens, and we're flying overnight, if you will. We take off at 5:00 Chicago time and land at 11:00 Athens time.
Yeah. So sleeping on the plane may not be a bad idea.
It's not, I'm going to work. I mean, we're going to make sure we eat. I'm going to make sure that, I got a good meal in me. And then I have, not melatonin. I'm going to take Advil PM.
No, I get it.
Well, part of it too is I'm going to be sore. So the Advil will help out with that. But I was sleeping a little bit that I do have an eye mask. I was gifted an eye mask. So that was nice. But again, I don't have a problem sleeping on planes.
Right.
So.
Right.
And I want a little bit of rest because I want to be alert enough to find and navigate in Athens when we land and be present. I think that was the piece in Australia that I had a hard time with, is because I was alone and I never ever been out of the country before. And I had never worked a passport. I've never worked through customs. I didn't know what to do. And I was so out of it tired that I honestly was so terrified I was making mistakes. Anyway, it was just, that's my bigger fear, is I want to be rested enough to help navigate. And not that I have to, because Tom has traveled internationally most recently as well. They went to Spain and Barcelona, did a cruise and stuff like that. So, I'm not going to be alone navigating, but I do want to be present enough to be able to do it right.
Oh, yeah.
And not mess up.
Oh, yeah.
But that's my thing.
So I guess that's isn't it?
Yeah, that's my plans. I mean,
Oh,
on August 8th through 17th, I will be in Greece, and I'm very excited and thrilled. And it is, yes, it's expensive. I'm not going to lie there.
Of course.
I mean, but, I forgot to tell my Todd savings story.
Here we go. Here we go.
And
and here we go. Saving with Alyce.
One of the things, you kind of learn as a airline kid is that the earlier you book something, the more money you save, contrary to some other theories out there and theses.
And theses.
I
went to a bad dad joke right there. I'm sorry.
I think I did it in February. Wanted to book my travel because I decided I wanted to have Adventures by Disney book my airfare for me because they could meld the two together, get me where I needed to be on time so I could be picked up, and that they knew the itinerary that could work with it. I didn't want to do that independently. So they working with them. I had budgeted around $2,500 for my flight. When we were done booking it, travel fees, everything involved, it was less than $2,000. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
I don't have much to say about that because it happens with me too.
Thank you very much.
And it surprises me when it happens with me because I'm not looking for it.
No, because this is where it's very instinctual for us. You go, I do a minimum, if I'm going to fly anywhere, I do a minimum of 3 months to purchase my ticket. Yeah. Other people have their own hypothesis and theses, but I am a earlier the better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I am I like it, the sooner the better.
Well, because the party starts when we get there.
Right.
Okay. So.
And it's like we've been traveling with the planning, and part of the planning is having your travel and your
part of the journey.
Yeah. So anyway, that was really exciting because like I said, I had budgeted a certain dollar amount because international travel right now is not cheap.
No.
And, with gas prices and all of the other things that are levied onto airfare, I am very aware of.
Oh, and especially what's happening now.
So I just was like, I'm gonna put a big hunk of change for my flight on top of what I'm already paying. And when I came in way under budget, I was like,
okay, and there we are.
There we are.
There we are, folks.
Take it with what you will. Travel kid tip is book your airfare sooner than later.
Our results are not common. Your mileage may vary. Okay.
But it works for us. So
it does work for us, but not always. But
more often than not, we do have really good results by booking
earlier.
earlier.
But do not take our examples as how it will work for you. Okay.
But if you can book them sooner than later, do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I guess that's it.
I guess.
All right. Well, thank you very much, folks. Thank you, Alyce, for coming in and telling us about your trip. Thank you, Tom, or Lonette and Tom Piper,
Yes.
for Magical Vacation Planner. And I will, as always, leave a link to Lonette and Tom Piper Magical Vacation Planner in the comments section of this video.
Yes.
Please make sure to go there, check them out, see what they're all about, give them a call, send them an email, do whatever you need to do, send them a text.
All of their services are free.
Yeah, you are not charged.
No.
You are
All
not
of their
charged.
services are free. So
Even for just a consultation, you are not charged. So anyway, thank you again. And in 2 weeks, I have no idea what. We may talk about the museum trip that Kris and I
cool.
went.
Yeah.
We can talk a little bit more about actually get in depth with the history of the museum and everything there. We've done it before, yes, with City Park, but I think the museum deserves its own chunk.
Cool.
I got a lot of B-roll.
Cool.
So anyway, thank you again, folks.
And Theo.
What she said. Anyway, good night.
Bye.